Okay, the link for this evening's class is just posted. I'll post it again. It's just posted into the chat. That's the link for this evening's class. Just bear with me. We just put in the last. All right, just put in the last bits of details together. Let me just get the. Your Excellency, Reverend Emmanuel. Building a legacy. Mm. Right, we get it there. I'm still on to download.
Ôi, mang lần đen cả.
All right, a very pleasant good evening to all distinguished ambassadors. I want to acknowledge our COO, Her Excellency Doreen and Burunji in Uganda. Acknowledgement for His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, our Chief of Protocol, Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu out of Ghana, and His Excellency Daniel Sepuru, who is our member coordinator for the Franco regions. And I also want to acknowledge the person of Emmanuel Ndinga, His Excellency Emmanuel Ndinga. You're very welcome to joining us in the class of Steele this evening. This evening's class is part 2 of building of a legacy, the building of a legacy. And please remember, next time when we start class in September, the 1st of September, when we start class again, we will be looking at leaving a legacy, but we're now talking about building a legacy. So in going forward, we've already went through most of the dynamics of part 1. If you have not seen part 1, I want to encourage you to check out our YouTube channel or check us on our LinkedIn or on our website for part 1 of the building of a legacy. So let's jump straight into this evening's presentation. And as we looked at the presentation this evening, we're talking about choosing your team. And in choosing your team, we've already gone through the dynamics of storming, forming, norming, and performing, but I'm going to run through them for you because I equally want you to be aware of some of these dynamics in setting up and establishing your team. So choosing your team. The Chapman's team development model is not a secret. You can Google it and it will show you the dynamics of team building or team forming or team development. So I don't want you to think that this is just Dr. Steele alone coming up with ideas. I have a few of my own, but there's a Chapman's team development model. It's a professional model that is used by individuals globally. And in choosing your team, you have to go through forming. And in forming, you establish the basic expectations for building a legacy. So remember, we're talking about building a legacy. We looked at our prior slides about how to form your team, those persons. As a matter of fact, let me jump right back. I want to jump back quickly. I want to jump back to something that's very important. Okay, so let's look at the team quickly. I'm going to jump back quickly to the rules because they're very important. The rules of the team that we're talking about. I'm going backwards to go forward. And I'm going to go through them quickly. The rules are: you must see your vision on the faces and in the characters, life goals, life focus, and personal ambitions of each member. Remember, these are total strangers, but there are certain things you must see in these strangers to determine that you would bring them on your team. Do not try to make your team members into something they're not. Remember that again. That's very critical. Don't try to make an individual do something that they're not suited for. Don't try to make a mason a plumber. Don't try to make a tiler a carpenter. Don't try to make a mechanic a house cleaner. You know, fit every person in their own environment. All right. If you can not see a way in which you can improve the lives of your team members, don't add them. So don't add somebody to your team that you don't see, I can make this person's life better, or I can make this person's ministry better. You must be able to see the opportunity that you personally will have to improve that individual or that individual's life. That is very, very critical in forming your team. And then know when to add the competition to your team and how. It is very important to know when to add competition. And I mentioned before that competition is healthy. Competition, as a matter of fact, competition is very good for you, because competition gives you the capacity and the ability to rise above the normal challenges that you will set for yourself. It also shows you how to create an environment where you better yourself or your organization. So competition is very good, but you need to know when to add competition. And then the other point is, be aware that team members may leave you and the process. Know the signs. Team members may leave you and leave the process, but you must know the signs. Don't think that everybody that you're building your legacy with is going to be with you forever. I think one of the things is you treat everyone as though they're going to be with you forever, but expect that they will leave you tomorrow. Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. You treat everyone as though you expect them to be with you forever, but expect that they might leave you tomorrow. What does that mean? That means that when you treat someone at a level where you have them forever, you're free, you're comfortable, you're open. But when you expect, if possible, if they will leave you tomorrow, you know that you will not die. That's what I really want you to grasp in this dynamic. Even if someone leaves you before you complete your process, you will not die. So again, remember, these are the individuals that we are talking about in the process that we are building. It is these folks that we're talking about, okay? So I want you to go with me now, and this is in part 2. So go with me, and let's look at choosing your team. Okay, we're going to look at some dynamics of choosing your team. And we look at establish basic expectations. In forming your team, you have to do this. Establish basic expectations. You need to establish them. The basic expectations that everybody's going to have, they need to be established. Identify similarities. How many of you know you don't want two dishwashers in one kitchen? You know, if you have one sink in the kitchen, you don't want 2 dishwashers, because when the dishes are dirty to be cleaned, one is going to be watching the other, or one is going to be just criticizing the other. So be careful and mindful of identifying similarities on your team. Agree on common goals. Make sure that there are common goals, that you as the leader of your team is creating an environment where individuals agree. Members start to make contact and bond. In the forming aspect, there's, forming contact and there's bonding. Start to develop trust. Make sure that you develop an environment where your members start to trust you and you start to trust them, because you can't create or do anything successful if there isn't any trust in the midst of what you're doing. You must have trust on your team. Members are dependent on the leader. Who is the leader? A lot of individuals like to be in environments where they say, oh, there's no leader. All of us are bosses. Please be mindful. Everybody cannot be a boss on a team. Are you with me? And as much as you want to give individuals authority and position and power and liberty and freedom to operate, you have to appreciate everyone cannot be the boss on the team. Somebody must assume the role of responsibility for the success, and that person is you. You are responsible for your success. You're responsible for making sure that your legacy is conveyed, presented in a manner conducive to your paleting. You want to make sure that what you are putting on that pallet and is going to be shipping is exactly what you require. Storming. Identifying power and control issues. You're going to find that when your team comes together, there's going to be some storming. There's going to be you having to tell individuals, hey, this is where the power lies. Her Excellency Doreen, our chief executive, our chief operations officer, is responsible for this. His Excellency Donald Ewers is responsible for this. Her Excellency Dr. Bishop Comfort is responsible for this. And you have to identify power and control issues. Individuals might be leaders all by themselves, but when it comes to working in a team, it can create some dynamics. When you have leaders on the same team, it will have challenges. But as a leader or as the head of the team, you must be prepared to iron out those differences. Improve communication. What do I mean by improve? All of us can communicate. All of us can speak English. But all of us say one thing and mean something else sometime or the other. I want you to just lift your hand if you identify what I just said. All of us can communicate. Every single human being can communicate. What is different is understanding exactly what was being communicated. And that's the role of the leader or the head of the team. So improving on the communication, identifying the resources. Remember, we looked already and we talk about the resources that are available. So what is the role of the leader is to say, here are the resources to get this job done. These are the resources. We're doing a beautiful painting. This is the paintbrush. This is the canvas. This is the colors of paint we're using. And this is where you are allowed to paint. Are you with me? So the leader is responsible for identifying the resources or showing the team where those resources are and what they are and who is responsible for holding which resource. You're not going to give the accountant the broom to sweep the yard. And you're not going to give the man in the yard the computer to punch in figures because they don't match. So there are times you will have meetings, and a lot of times individuals on teams think they need to know everything. I want you to know this very carefully. On your team, always compartmentalize individuals. How many of you know that accountants are interested in numbers and details and figures? But the cleanup man might just be a simple person who knows how to do the cleaning and get things done. And when you're having a conversation about figures and dynamics and details and formulas, your outside cleanup person or your office staff that are just packing the shelves are not going to need that type of intimacy. Are you with me? So in your team and building your legacy, know who needs what resource, and know who needs what information, and do not crowd individuals with information not relevant to what they have to undertake. Don't have a general meeting when you just need a management meeting. Don't have a protocol meeting and bring the accountants and everybody next to you. Protocol meet when it is talking about protocol. Accountant meet when it's talking about the finances. Leaders who are responsible for official meet when you're talking about administration. And a membership coordinator you meet when you're talking about membership. Are you with me? Please keep everything in its own compartment so that your resources are used wisely. And you don't have individuals knowing what they don't need to know and trying to overstep their boundaries. A lot of times, the reason why individuals overstep their boundaries is because they were privy to information that is none of their business. Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. The information that they received was none of their business. And now all of a sudden, you have the COO having a conversation with the gardener talking about accounts because he did a little bit of accounts when he was managing some little farm back then. Now he thinks he knows how to tell the COO how to manage her job or the accountant. I want you to appreciate, know your resources when you are building your legacy. Expressing differences of ideas and opinions. A gardener cannot give me any opinion about my account keeping. I'm going to say it again because I really want to break this down simple so you get it. A gardener is not going to sit on my board with my finance ministers. He will not. What is his business in my finances and in my accounting? So you need to also be aware when you're having certain conversations, be aware of the opinions and the ideas that are being shared so you don't upset an accountant with the opinion of a gardener. I'm not going to go into much details, but I just want to be to the extreme so you get where I'm going, okay? Don't bring your accountant in a conversation and says, you know, it is true. Ricky said that it would be a good idea if you did this, I did that. Who is Ricky? Oh, Ricky is the gardener out of the back. Hey, please, sir, what do you mean? Yes, but Ricky thinks it's a good idea. And because Ricky might be your cousin or your brother or your uncle's son, or because Ricky might know the person who is sponsoring you or doing something great, Ricky might think that he is more intelligent than your accountant. And then Ricky gets on your board and starts talking. And your accountant says, please, sir, I have been to school for 5 years with my first degree, 3 years with my second degree, 8 years of studying. I'm a fellow of this institution and a fellow of that institution. And you want me to come and sit down with a gardener to discuss my business? I beg you now, please. I might sound extremist in saying that, but carry that down to the finest microcosm nature of your organization and be mindful who you allow to give information to you or ideas. Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. Just give me a wave. Just give me a little wave so I know you're with me. Reacting to leadership. The membership coordinator is responsible for members. Every single person on a team is a member. The COO is not the membership coordinator, or the chief of protocol might not be the membership coordinator, or the head of in some area might not be the membership coordinator. But please, even if you are the COO, you are a member. If you are the accountant, you are a member. If you are you getting what I'm saying? So remember, leadership has its role. Every person that is on the team have an office. Make sure that offices are defined and respected, because that's the only way your structure is going to work and be stable. Once everybody understands their role and stay in their zone. A lot of times you have individuals stepping out of their zone and disrespecting leadership. Members independent or counter dependent. Let's go on. In norming, members agree about roles and processes for solving problems. So now you've come through that process. So everybody has agreed. We have agreed that Her Excellency Doreen is the COO of the class of Steele. His Excellency Donald Ewers is our Chief of Protocol. Settled, done and dusted. We don't need a Chief of Protocol. We have one. We don't need a COO. We already have one. The job is not up for grabs. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for debate. It's not up for negotiation. You're not going to be better than my COO because she's already in the job. She already has a purpose and a role and a portfolio, and she's doing her work. Make sure you clearly define those on your team and agree. Whatever me, if you get what I'm saying, agree. There must be agreement. Musa agrees that Minister Ewers is my Chief of Protocol. If it's a protocol issue, Musa, please speak to His Excellency Donald Ewers. Oh, but I don't like Minister Ewers because he's not, please, you're my friend now. How long have you and I been friends? I says, please, it's not about me and you being friends. He's the Chief of Protocol. You agree. If you don't agree, you cannot be on the team. Please understand that. Everyone needs to agree for us to function effectively. We do not have an opposition leader on a team. It's not a government. You see, a lot of individuals don't understand the difference between a government and a team. You see, team on a party work together. Team in a government have opposition. It is the role of opposition to challenge the team to raise their level. But in a team, if you have opposition, you fire opposition. In a team, if you have individuals that are opposing the vision, you fire them. How many of you get what I'm saying? Some of you have persons that are on your team that you're tolerating for so long, and you're thinking, oh, it's constructive criticism. You don't need constructive criticism with a person who is constantly opposing what you're trying to accomplish. If you're opposing what I'm doing, go your way and build your own project. All right? If you want to share a point and build on what we're doing, let's do it together. But don't come and oppose what I'm doing. Oh, Dr. Steele, I don't think you should buy cars. I think you should buy bicycles. Hey, I know why I'm buying cars. If you want to have a meeting with me, come and talk to me about what color cars should we buy? How many cars should we buy? Should we buy Bentleys, Mercedes, Range Rovers? What type of cars? But don't come and tell me, I don't think you should buy cars. I think you should buy bicycles. You're opposing me. You're not invited to the meeting. So you need to understand the roles and the processes for solving problems. So if I come to a meeting and I hear somebody speaking opposing rather than constructive, I will make a decision based on what I'm hearing. Decisions are made through negotiation and consensus building. Consensus building. Let's vote on this. I think that Joe Blogs should be our new cryptocurrency man. We need somebody that is going to be responsible for cryptocurrency in the class of Steele, because the class of Steele is going somewhere. I think Joe Blogs should be the man. Well, you know, I don't think that he should be. Why? Let us discuss it. Let us negotiate. Let us talk about it. But don't come and say we don't need cryptocurrency discussions on the team. Let us discuss it. Then let us put a vote. Okay, so if you don't think that Joe Blog should be the person, who should be the best person? Let us vote on who should be that best person. Performing. Achieving effective and satisfying results. That's where you get to performing. As you form your team, you're going to go through these stages. This stage is called performing. Achieving effective and satisfying results as a result of having the right team, the right managers, the right understanding. It's now time to perform. Members find solutions to problems and members work collaboratively. We collaborate. Team members or independent members care about one another. The success of the class of Steele is all of our interests. I need every single person on board to make this team a success. We cannot make it without each other. We cannot be successful if those that we depend on don't deliver on what we expect them to deliver on. So we have performing. Now, I have this section that I call digging the dirt. Digging the dirt. Where to go digging? I'm going to share with you in the new months coming, when we come back, on the 80-55-10 or 80-10-55. Okay? Remember that in your head. Say that in your spirit. 80-10-55. I'm going to teach you the principle, 80-10-55 principle, because we've discussed it in the first slide, but I'm going to give it to you. And by the way, the 80-10-55 principle is copyrighted by His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele. It is mine. It belongs to me. I coined the principle and the foundation behind it. And it is as a result of the dynamics that I work with for success in the class of Steele, in my life, in my marriage, in my family, and what I do. The 80-10-55 principle or model or formula, 80-10-55. So 80% of where to start digging must be in your favor. 80%. Why, if you're building a legacy, why must 80% be in your favor? If you decide that you're going to build a property, His Excellency Architect Olukoyo is an architect, and His Excellency Olukoyo knows that if you are building on a property, you must own the land, or you must have permission to build. Now, most people build on somebody else's land, and then they build out of wall, and they find that if calamity strikes, the person want back their land, they have to remove their structure. And that's not an easy task. That's very difficult. So most individuals when they're going to build, the first thing they do is spend time buying their land to own it, so that when they start, nobody can dislodge them. So I always say, make sure 80% of where to start digging is in your favor. Excuse me. 80% of the resources, 80% of the team and the structure and everything that you have to utilize is in your favor. Remember, we talk about building a legacy, 80% must be in your hand. You must be able to command immediately 80% of your project. You can maximize on your productive hours. Where you dig. Where you dig, you need to be in an environment where it is close proximity, where you build, where your office is, where you set up your company. I know persons that are in London and it takes them 2 hours to get to work. I want to share something with you. If you're going to build a legacy, don't build a legacy that in 10 days, you've lost 40 hours. Wait that if you get what I just said. Because you see, I broke it down slightly, but don't build or establish a legacy on a premise where you are going to be losing in 10 days, 40 wasted hours, sitting in a car, driving to work, stuck in traffic, 2 hours a day going, and then 2 hours to get back home. Thank you, darling. You heard me cough, and I wanted to ask for water. And thank you. Build with a conscientious team. That if they hear you cough while you're speaking, they know you need water, and they will bring you water. You don't even have to call for it. It will show up because your team is conscientious. Thank you, my darling. So you want to maximize on your time. The class of Steele maximizes on time. How? I operate from in our home, in our office. It's our office location at this time. Because of COVID, we've established the office here. This is where it is. So you need to be in an environment where you maximize on your productive hours. Maximize on the cost of operating. If your cost of operating exceeds the income that you're bringing, your legacy is just going to be a white elephant. I'll say that again. If the cost of your operating exceeds the income that you're bringing in, your project or your legacy is going to be a white elephant. Why would your son or daughter want to sit down with you with a 30-year mortgage? You're 50 years old and you just got a 30-year mortgage. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me show you what happened to kids that are in university. You just got a 30-year mortgage on your business, 30 years. You just hired a fleet of vehicles for all of your managers. Because all of your managers, you make sure they have vehicles. And you, to get to work, you built your factory 50 miles from where you live. So you either decide that you're going to drive for 3 hours to get to work, or you're going to stay in a hotel that is close to your building or your factory. Are you getting what I'm trying to show you? The cost of your production, the cost of what you're doing exceeds what you're bringing in while you're supposed to be building. Nobody immediately starts earning when they're building. Nobody. It doesn't work like that. The only thing that starts at the top is a grave digger. He starts at the top and he makes his way down to the bottom. And he's the only person that gets paid when he reaches to the bottom. So make sure that your operating costs is managed wisely. You must also know where you could maximize your energy. This is very important. Very important. Let me ask you a question. Monday morning, you get up at 6 a.m. You have a shower. Prepare your breakfast. Look after yourself and your personal, get yourself together. And then you get on the train or you get in your car for a 2-hour drive to work. And then you sit down at work all day. You don't do no gym. You don't do no training. You just sit at work at your office desk, swinging around. Yes. Yes. Whole day. Yes. The whole day. And you work. Doreen is laughing. And you work. Whole day. Talk. One talk. And by the way, I'm actually beating myself. So I'm not even going to pretend. I am beating myself. I see Bishop Comfort. Her Excellency is looking at me and said, I see my Chief of Protocol looking at me. And I see Her Excellency Doreen, all of them looking at me. Work yourself to the ground. And then you take 2 hours to get home. As soon as the office is finished, 2 hours to get home. By the time you get home, you are dog tired. You just want to sit in front of the couch. You don't even want to hear anyone. And then you go to bed. After dinner, you go to bed, and then you get up the next morning and do the same thing over and over again. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and some of you work on Saturdays. I want to make a suggestion if you're building a legacy. Find room for family. Find room for family. The blessing about my legacy is that my legacy is my wife and myself, my family, my immediate family, my team partner, my wife and myself. We do everything together. My goodness, my wife can't wait for me to travel sometimes. Minister yours. The First Lady looks forward to when I have a trip to go on, because we get some space, but we're always together. So I have maximized all my family time. My son and I, we're always together because my son is home educated. So I have to go through teaching him and sharing things with him, my wife and I together. So it's together. Please don't think I'm creating any element of grandeur, because everybody's vision is going to be different. Everybody's legacy is going to be different. But I want you, in building your legacy, to maximize on important things. Your family is important. Your health is important. My wife removed what it is that I wanted to say there about what we are. And I don't remember what to call ourselves. But your health is important. Your diet, what you eat, how you eat, when you sleep, how you sleep. Are you getting what I'm trying to share with you? These things are important. Your energy level, these are important things that you must pay attention to. You must. If you're building a legacy, it's important. You must have time to play. How many of you play? I told those in Nigeria, I know most of you remember there was a time I told you guys that when I come to Nigeria, I want to go to the river and I want to go fishing. Most of you remember I told you guys that. It's important. You need to have time to play, to socialize, to have fun, to laugh, to let down your head if you don't have hair. You must need to chill out, relax. Don't talk about anything deep. Just have a joke. Watch a movie. Me and my wife have watched a few films together, read a few books together. We do recreational things together that are fun. We go for long walks together. My goodness. Me and my wife, we go for long walks, and we like to walk late in the night, sometimes 12, 1 o'clock in the night. We go for long walks, me and my wife and Josh. Why? Because we want to exercise, we want to stay together, and we want to fellowship, because all those things are important. Let me move on. Why to start digging? Those who are identified service users are waiting in need of what you will be providing. That's the most important reason. Why do you start digging? Why to start? Why? The reason you have a legacy is because you've seen a need. You've seen something that needs addressing. You've seen something that you want to improve in the world. So you're building a legacy around that. So when do you start digging? When do you start to build on the foundation? When do you start? When you identify and recognize those individuals are there, and why you start is because they are waiting on you. Remember this, your vision is greater than the one. It is not about you. Listen to me. The class of Steele is not about Dr. Steele. It's not about me. It's not. The class of Steele for me, is about y'all. Are you with me? It's about y'all. Y'all have businesses. Y'all have projects. Y'all have ideas, communities. So for me, it's not about me. If I show up here and nobody's here to minister to, there's no internet to get out, then it's useless, isn't it? So remember, your legacy is not about you. It's not about you, it's about the problem to be solved. What is the problem that the class of Steele is solving? We are educating individuals and equipping and empowering individuals to reach their highest potential. That's what we're doing. Educating individuals, equipping individuals, empowering individuals, and credentialing individuals so they can reach their highest potential on the earth. We are part of following the Sustainable Development Goals. We want to feed the poor. We want to eradicate poverty. We want to put schools and colleges and universities in places that individuals have access to education. We want to create an environment where there are farms. We want to honor those who are great leaders. We want to identify and acknowledge unsung heroes. How many of you know there are many unsung heroes around the world, and some of them will die and nobody will ever even know that they were there? But by the grace of God, we in the class of Steele are going to find and celebrate some of those unsung heroes and give them an opportunity to be lifted up. Not every person that is doing greatness is running around looking for someone to lift them up. There's some individuals that are doing some amazing things, and nobody lifts them. Nobody celebrates them. Nobody even knows who they are. In the class of Steele, why are we here? Because some of those individuals need to at least have a chance that their children and their children's children will know my daddy was a great man. My granddaddy or my mommy or my auntie. Are you with me? There's some great people around you that without your input, the world will not recognize them. And it is your role to find them. There's some young people in Africa. Our youth program is starting on Saturday. And there are some youth in Africa that are so gifted and talented with so much ability. And the only thing they need is somebody to polish them. Come on, somebody. They just need somebody that's going to say, I will invest in you. I'll invest in your education. I will help you as much as I could. And that's what the class of Steele is going to do with our youth. The need to be filled, the people to be reached, or the lives to be saved. This is why to start digging. When to start digging. When to start digging. You start digging after you have a vision. You cannot dig without a vision. Don't go and start digging and somebody come and ask you, what are you doing? You know, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to be digging here because maybe something will come while I'm digging. Hey, the only thing that might come while you're digging is a snake or something that is in the hole that you are digging. When you have a plan, you need a vision and you need a plan. When you get a vision, then you put a plan in motion. You can't plan without a vision. And then, when you put your plan together, you need your resources. A plan without resources is just as good as no vision. Oh, you should write that down. A plan without resources is just as good as no vision. But a plan, a vision, resources, and no team. Again, without a team, all is useless. All is pointless if you don't have a team. So when do you start digging? When these established and in hand, start digging. Did you get what I'm saying? After you have a vision, don't jump up and run when you get a vision and start digging. No. Get a plan. Don't get up and run and try to execute the plan without resources. Store up resources. Get the resources that you need. Make sure you have 80% of your resources. And a part of the 80% of your resources is your team. Once your team is in place, then start digging. Next slide. Pitfalls that will be encountered when digging. Listen carefully to what I said. I didn't say might be. You see, a lot of times we don't recognize that life does not give us no smooth sailing. Even the smoothest sea you start on will have some level of turmoil along the journey. Olukoya is an architect, and Olukoya can tell you how many buildings have been stopped because they thought the foundation was going to be an easy hurdle, and they wasted their mortgage in their foundation. Olukoya, wave at me if you get what I'm saying. I know, Olukoya, as a matter of fact, Olukoya, join me with this particular point. Olukoya, please unmute yourself, Your Excellency, Architect Olukoya. This is a very important point. Your Excellency, am I correct in saying that in your professional time, you have seen individuals who got a mortgage to build a property and the foundation swallowed up maybe 50, 60, or even 70% of their mortgage, and they never completed their building? Your Excellency, Architect, is that true?
It's very true, Your Excellency.
What happened in those times, Your Excellency? What do you think happened?
Most of them did not plan properly. They just jumped into the work. They just jumped into the work without planning. And some of them also did not consult with the professionals. They just came and then they just started the project, and they were surprised, by the time they work. I mean, they were yet to even finish the foundation, and the bulk of the money is gone. So most times you see those those buildings abandoned at that level. They are scattered all over the place.
Your Excellency, and I'm going to walk. I want you to walk through this one with me. You and I are going to share in this particular session called "Digging the Dirt," because this is a very important aspect of what you're doing when you are building. Digging the dirt is very important.
Absolutely.
Now, Your Excellency, you said something very interesting. A lot of those individuals did not plan properly. But apart from planning, you see, because Your Excellency, you drew the plans. You were responsible for drawing the plans. Your job is not surveying the land. Your job is drawing the plans. Is that correct?
Very correct, Your Excellency.
So they cannot blame you as the architect who sits in the office to draw the plan. They cannot blame you for their failure to get somebody who is going to look at the topography of the land or geoanalyze the land or look at what is in the waterway or the structuring of the land. Is that correct?
Yes, it's very correct, Your Excellency. And can I add something?
Please.
Okay. Sometimes when we get the survey of the land, and then we now design based on the topography and the nature of the soil, establishing the hard subsoil where the foundation can rest, and then we now come up with the kind of design that the building will have. Most times, some of those clients don't bother to even look at the drawing properly. They just go meet somebody else and then they start executing. So that's why most times they run into muddy waters, Your Excellency.
You've made a very good point. Now, I'm a designer. I could draw plans as well, and we have a construction firm as well. Many years I've been in construction as a project manager as well. So I know how to do the engineer plans, and I'm qualified in carpentry. I'm an A-class carpenter joiner by trade. I know masonry, plumbing, tiling, and I hate electrical work. I don't like electrical work at all. However, we also have a place where an architect could look at the land and determine we're going to do a floating foundation, or we are going to do a rock foundation where you dig and you put down a mat and a bedding in footing in the foundation. Is that correct?
Very correct. Yes, sir.
And there's some foundations that if it is a waterway or there's prone to sinking sand or environment, the foundation you use is a floating foundation. You have to use a floating foundation with piles. Is that correct?
Very correct, Your Excellency.
Now, what happened, just like you said, is a lot of individuals get one person to draw the plans, and then they run and they go and find a builder who does not understand those dynamics, and the builder gives his professional opinion of which is cheaper. And when he gives his professional opinion based on cheaper, then the person takes his word for it because they are cutting costs, and they find themselves in problem because they're going to get to that particular part in the land, which is exactly why you were building a floating foundation for the whole building. Is that correct?
Very correct, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Architect Olukoya, thank you so very much. And I love having you on my team, because even when I build messages, an architect is a great person to be on the team. And for managing our youth, you are the greatest mind, because you see the end from the beginning. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Olukoya.
Thanks for the opportunity, Your Excellency.
So you will look dirty. When you're digging dirt, you're going to look dirty. Expect to look dirty. Don't think you're going to dig dirt and don't look dirty. You wouldn't have anything to show while you're digging. I want you to be aware of something very critical. What do you have to show for what you've been doing a whole year? Well, I've been building. What are you building? What are you building a whole year? Well, I'm gathering this and I'm gathering that. Some of you, when you start your project in 6 months, you have individuals bombarding you with wanting to see everything now. And a lot of you do uncalled for things. You jump and you behave unseemly because you are bombarded with what do you have to show? You went to Dubai. You've been to Dubai. What do you have to show? Hey, all of this investment, what are you showing for Dubai? You're in the class of Steele. What do you have to show for being in the class of Steele? You're wasting your time. You see, a lot of times when you're in your foundation and individuals want to see a structure immediately, you don't have anything to show them. I guess why a lot of people abandon their vision. You want me to tell you why? They abandon their vision because they have unexpected realities. Unexpected realities. You cannot expect to see a grapevine that you plant today bearing immediately. It takes 3 years of watering and a dry stick. How many of you have ever planted a grapevine? I know what I'm talking about. It will take you 3 years of wetting a dry stick. That so much life is going on in the vine, but nothing is happening. If you plant bamboos, years of watering in the ground and nothing showing. Come on, somebody. So when you start to dig dirt, you're not going to look good. Don't try to prove anything to anyone. Do not try to prove. I want to belabor this point for you. I want to belabor it because some projects that I personally have started, I did not complete because individuals were bombarding me with proof. Oh, you have to prove. Where is this? Where is that? You're wasting time. And they didn't have the ability to wait with me through the process. They didn't have the capacity to see that you're going somewhere, but you need time. Naysayers, gossip mongers, mockers. These are people and things that will come. They will come. Naysay, don't mind him. Don't mind her. Look at this. Look at this. You see the last building that he started? It isn't even finished yet. And what are you going to do? Are you going to look at the unfinished business because you were in your learning stages and you didn't get it together? Are you going to allow the naysayers to come and cause you to do the same thing again that they did the last time by causing you to abandon your unfinished project? Why did you start to build a legacy? Why did you start it? Because you want to finish it. Oh, why did you quit? The naysayers, they didn't believe in me. Nobody believed in me. It was so hard. You don't know, Bishop. Bishop, you're talking. Bishop, you're talking because everybody celebrates you. Everybody worships you. Bishop, they love you so much. Bishop, you don't know what you are saying. You are going to have naysayers. You're going to have individuals that don't believe in you. They don't believe in your vision. They don't believe in where you're going. And they will cause you to throw in the towel. Why are you joining that group? It's a new group. Why are you joining them? They are just wasting time. Do you know the man? Do you know his wife? Do you know her husband? Do you know their children? Why are you joining them? What do they have to show? How can you have something to show when you are digging dirt down in the foundation? Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. Wave at me, 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 wave at me. If you see how foolish some people can be. What does he have to show? What do they have to show? The class of Steele. Look at them. What do they have to show? How can we have something to show if we are building? We are digging dirt. We are in the foundation. We have a vision. We are going somewhere. You just started your ministry. You have 3 people. And you have somebody with 500 people coming to see you. Hey, what are you doing with these 3 people? You're frustrating their ears. Please, I beg you, send them to me. I want you to get it. If you are building a legacy, you have to go through the mockers, the naysayers, the gossip mongers. People will talk about you. Have you seen him? Have you seen this idiot? Have you seen her? Have you seen them? I want to belabor on this point specifically because a lot of you are experiencing all of this and it is discouraging you. It is overwhelming you. It is frustrating you. Rise above it. Keep your head down. Keep your shovel in your hand and keep working till you butt rock. You cannot start coming up on your foundation until you butt rock. Keep digging down until the Lord gives you your foundation. Wave at me if you celebrate what I'm saying. Please, I want you to wave at me if you celebrate because I'm talking to you as an individual. Don't let nobody stop you. Dealing with prior incomplete projects is hard. Do you think that the naysayers and the gossipers and the mockers are going to be harder for you to deal with than your own brain that is telling you, you just started another project and it failed. You just tried to do that and it didn't work. How many of you know that your hardest critic is yourself? Your hardest critic is your own failures. Some of you are sitting down on failures and you refuse to get up and start again because you have been crippled by your own past failure. Get up, shake the dust off yourself and position yourself to build your legacy. You are not too late. Say this, tap yourself and say, I am not too late. I am not too late. I am not too late. self-project sabotage. Self-project sabotage. Losing focus, losing confidence, your own losing heart. How many of you started something and then when you see the amount of work you have to put in, hey, I'll give you a joke. I'm an athlete, a long distance runner. And I remember times running in London, no bank card, no money. I just feel so good running. 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers. My goodness. And if you butt traffic on a highway, my God, it gives you some energy out of this world because you're running 5 kilometers. And then a reality check hits you. Oops, I am 5 kilometers away from home. No money, no backyard, no currency. My journey back home is 5 kilometers more. Somebody. And when you look at what you have to deal with, sometimes you lose heart. But how many of you know, you decide, I'm not going to stop running till I get back to my doorstep. Come on, somebody. I determine that even if I jog a little bit slower, but I'm not stopping until I get back to my doorstep. Why? Because I want to finish what I started, and I'm not going to lose heart in the process. I'm not going to self-sabotage. Hey, you've never ran 10 kilometers like this before. The weather is cold. Your knees are hurting. You stop running. Your knees are hurting. Oh, stop running. Your stomach is hurting. You are hungry. You haven't eaten anything. You're going to dehydrate. You don't have any water. Come on, somebody. Don't self-sabotage in the midst of your project. Expecting people to catch your vision while you're digging. I'm talking to you. Don't expect somebody to catch your vision when you're digging. Remember what I told you about your team? The men that are digging your foundation are not your roofers. Wave at me if you get what I just said. The men that are digging the foundation with you are not your roofers. Your roofers are the persons who know when the building gets to that level, it is their turn. So you don't expect somebody that is a roofer to come and sit down and see you digging dirt and say, boss man, you don't look like you really know what you're doing. You don't put a roof on dirt. I'm just being hypothetical. You get what I'm saying? You don't put a roof on dirt. You're not ready. Don't expect those individuals to be aware unless they have the plan in their hands. And this one is one that is so important. Please, don't neglect this one. The desire to be taking shortcuts. Please, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think that if I wanted, before I was 30 years old, I could have been a multimillionaire. If I wanted, the circle I was in, the things I was connected to, possibly. But how many of you know that shortcuts are short-lived? I could have been an exceptionally wealthy and successful man a long time ago. All I had to do was take the shortcut and lose my integrity just a little bit, not too much, a little bit. Nobody wouldn't know. Olukoya, when you, Olukoya, I'm going to go on my architect. I want to go to my architect with this. Olukoya, are you with me?
I'm with you, Your Excellency.
Olukoya, you know you have 1 inch, 1.5 inch steel 2-inch steel and 4-inch steel. Is that correct, Olukoya?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, if I am putting up a column that is going to hold 2 floors,
Yes,
is
sir.
1-inch steel going to be useful to me?
Come again, Your Excellency.
If I am putting up a
Yes, sir.
major structure
Yes, sir.
and I'm building my columns,
Yes, sir.
can 1-inch steel in the center of my column hold up my structure that needs 1/4-inch, 4-inch steel plat in a mat that is in a square or a triangle going up? Can 1-inch steel cutting the corners for cutting costs, can that save me?
It cannot, Your Excellency.
And in as much as the building might go up, Your Excellency, if there is ever a high wind or a strong weight, Your Excellency, will my building not fall down?
It will fall down. Even the self-load can bring it down.
I'm not, I will mute you on that. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. I will mute you on that one. That, of course. What I'm trying to say is you will cut a corner that the outside coating hides it. It hides it. But the little piece of steel that is inside of there, when the engineer comes, the engineer is not going to be able to see inside of that column, because you see, the column hides the steel that is supposed to be there. Like me, because I'm into construction and Olukoya, I will get the hammer, and once I tap it, I will know what steel is in it for sure. Once I tap it, because I will hear and feel the steel that's in it. And if it doesn't have steel, I will know how it sounds. But what I'm saying is, if integrity is not inside of your foundation character, I don't care how big and beautiful you look today, there is coming a time very soon that you will be embarrassed because you lack integrity. I do not cut corners. I do not do anything by the grace of God that is lacking in integrity, because you could be sure it will find you out and sabotage your legacy. I am begging you, do not cut corners and compromise when leaving or building a legacy. Do not cut corners. This is the question. This is the big question. When should you go public with your legacy, with your project, with your vision? When should you go public? When should you shout to the world, here we are? There is a critical time to do it. There is a very critical time to do it. Can I tell you when? I'll tell you when to go public. But before I tell you when to go public, I will share this with you. My wife was the first lady, our first lady, Jeannie. She was just celebrated and appointed. The first lady was just appointed. The first lady was just appointed as, where is that? The Youth Enterprise and Leadership Wing, the Club G100, Entrepreneur, Student Pilot, and Global Peace Ambassador UK, Jeannie Steele, the first lady, the UK Country Cheer, the top 100 women globally, and she is the UK Country Chair for Youth Enterprise and Leadership. the First Lady Jeannie. Come on, celebrate her with us. Come on. Come on. She did not even want me to post it. She pleaded and, oh, darling, no. My wife is a student pilot, and when she went flying the plane and she flew me and Josh, don't tell anybody, darling, don't tell anybody. She wants to go to, when she does the practices, she's so private. Don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. And I said to her, darling, if you die, nobody knows. But she has a way of doing things so private. She has been an ambassador for so many years. She has so many, my wife has so many qualifications. If I show you her portfolio, you want to know if you're reading a manuscript. But so quiet. So secret. When should you go public? I'm asking her, hon, when are you going to go public? When you become a billionaire? When are you going to go public? You have to ask yourself a question with your legacy that you're building. When are you going to go public? When does it matter for the world to know that you were there or your legacy exists? And this is the result that I have. Whenever you feel to. Your legacy is your business. Whenever you feel to. There's no when to go public. Whenever you feel confident to go public, you go public. Whenever you feel that you are going to reach what you want to reach and accomplish what you want to accomplish by going public, you go public. Don't let anyone tell you or dictate to you when you go public. You tell others when you want to go public and you prepare for it. Are you with me? You position yourself for it. I want to thank all of you for listening in this evening. And I hope that this evening's class have been of value to you. And with that, I'm going to ask, there's a person that I really want to hear his opinion. And I just want his opinion because he's one of my key partners, and he's one of the persons that is so key in the class of Steele. But he refuses to go public. He keeps everything secret. He's like my wife, keep everything secret. He's one of the secret weapons, one of the many. Your Excellency Emmanuel Ndenga, I'm going to ask you to unmute this evening. I'm going to pick on you this evening in my class because we're closing for the weekend. We're going to close for the month of August, and we're starting back in September. But Your Excellency Emmanuel, what do you think about this evening's class? If you would share your thoughts, please, if you would be so kind to unmute yourself.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Steele. How are you?
You know how I am. I speak to you every single day for 3, 4, 5 hours. I'm awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I don't attend these classes as much as I would like to. You know, my schedule is crazy. But I love the class of Steele every time I get a chance to chime in, and you know, I just get goosebumps. There is a lot of information you give, and when you're talking about building a legacy, for us who are in the corporate world and who have families and people we care about, it should be a topic that almost we discuss every day with our loved ones. So this is a very important topic. You know, I'm a young man. I'm not too old, too young, not too young, not too old. I'm middle-aged right now. and I have young kids right now. So my oldest is just 11 years old. But even where I am right now, so I have 3 girls and 1 boy. And when I see my kids, I'm paying attention to each and everyone, how they walk, how they talk, the way they communicate. And then I look at my portfolio, right? And I'm already thinking and looking where everybody fits, right? So you gotta look at the weaknesses and strengths, then see where you can help them grow, where they might be lacking, right? So that's on the family level. But then we have to do the same thing, of course, with our companies or employees, with our partners, people you work with. As you said, you need to know your people. You need to know who you're working with. And there are those natural born leaders, and everybody has a weakness. So you as a leader, what's your job? What's your purpose, right? Is to develop those skills, help them grow. You have to show them a direction. And to some extent, at a certain time, you actually need to come out and let them know your intentions, right? They gotta know that you are bringing them up for that position, right? You gotta build them up. Basically, that's what we do. Even that's what we do with our partners. So to me, this is a very, very important topic. I know people might not take it as serious. For one, because you might think, oh, I'm not successful right now. I need to wait when I'm successful. You know what I mean? But the best thing is actually to build your company, your career with somebody right now when you're still young. Because sometimes when you're that successful, you really cannot tell people's characters, right? Because everybody, once you're successful, everybody wants to be with who? With you, but is really everybody genuine? So it's time right now to get with people that you trust, people you see that have potential, right? Build with them right now. Lead them, help them grow as you grow. And Dr. Steele, that's why I like what you do, man. You know I do. You know I love it, right? I like what you do. I like your character. You share, you give, right? And
Yes.
you try to bring people with you. You don't leave people behind. And I love that, man. I just love that I'm part of your world. You know, we share the same interests. We share the same dreams. So, hey, I'm happy to be with you. And thank you so much for this class. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Emmanuel Ndinga, thank you so much. Class of Steele, you will be hearing much about His Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu out of Ghana. His Excellency Emmanuel is one of our chief sponsors for the Monarchs of Africa initiative, and we are going to make that happen in Ghana, and he's one of our chief partners in that. As a matter of fact, I think only key partners that I'm putting on the table at this point for the Monarchs of Africa. So just so that you know, always know when to go public. There's always an appointed time to let things be known. Your Excellency, Emmanuel, thank you so very much again. I appreciate you, sir, definitely.
Thank you, sir.
I want to ask Zionist. Zionist, give your take this evening. I'm going to, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Zionist out of the UK, give your take on this evening's class. Thank you so very much for being with us.
For giving me yet another opportunity to share my take on this great learning. The one key thing that I'm going to take among many others is what is a phrase I've coined from what you said. He said, when you fail, you never said, I'm just rephrasing it, paraphrasing. When you fail to plan, it means you plan to fail. And that comes under the pitfalls that will be encountered while digging. And, irrespective of how we look, how they start is what people think about us. You've encouraged us through your teaching never to try to prove anything to anyone. We should never allow anybody with bombarding us with wanting proofs. We have to be sternly focused. And then from what His Excellency Emmanuel said, he used an analogy of his children. If I'm not mistaken, 3 girls and 1 boy. And he is good at observing their characters, taking note, of how to help them grow, from knowing where he's to feed them within his portfolio. And that analogy equates to us when we're building legacy. We should understand the people around us and how to harness the potential, the talent that each person has got. So I have gathered quite much from this, and it's also reinforced it's reinforced my own kind of characteristics. I'll go away, and again, as usual, I will digest this, and it will help me again to stand up again and be strengthened where I have refused to stand up. Because while I was digging, there are people there who are wanting to see if I've got what it takes, to continue digging. They had no intention of helping me, and they're just there to prod, to take what we call taking the mickey, and just to see me see me get frustrated. I will take a leaf out of the joke you gave about starting jogging. Getting to 5 kilometers, the jogging is wonderful. You're building up steam, you're getting strong, but then you get to the end and you want to go back and you realize, oops, you've run out of steam. Do you stand there? Do you keep moving? But what you have said has encouraged me. Just one step at a time, step by step, start going backward again, but never stay down and never give up. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much for your submission. I know Reverend Paul, His Excellency, Reverend Paul is with us. Reverend Paul, share your thoughts this evening, please. You've missed us so many times. I just want to give you a chance to greet us this evening. Your Excellency, Reverend Paul.
Good evening, Your Excellencies.
Good evening.
Yes, this topic is a very, like I said yesterday, this topic is a very serious one. And I like it, building your legacy. I will start with a little story about a man. Are you pointing to me?
No, I'm sorry. I was interfering with my screen. Forgive me, I'm with you.
Okay. I will start with the story of a man who didn't have much. He was a working man. He had about 4 children. But this man maintained his integrity. He never collected bribe from anyone. He did whatever he had to do, and he maintained justice. Then he died, not leaving any house for his children, not leaving any cars for them. The children were not happy with him. They said he lived a wasted life, that they didn't have anything, but all of them were graduates. Then they started looking for jobs. One of them, the girl, was the first to go to a particular company. She wrote some applications. And when she got there, then the man interviewing her looked at the name on her CV and asked her, Are you by any chance this daughter of so person? The girl said yes, and started beating her father down, thinking that her father did something that would have stopped her from getting the job. Then the man told her, the man said, I am sorry. The way we are talking about your father, I knew your father. Your father was one of the best people that ever lived. In fact, this seat that I am sitting on, it was your father's making. Your father left a legacy with everyone. He never collected bribe. He did his job well. And he invested in a lot of people. That was his legacy. He said, because of your father, because of his name, I will give you this job. She got the job. She went home and started crying. She said she thought her father lived a wasted life, that she did not know that her father left a big legacy for his children. But he himself never enjoyed it, but he left a good legacy, a good name for his children. The son went to the bank. He wanted a loan to start a project. And the manager looked at him, saw his synopsis, which they asked him to bring, and read it, then asked him, where did you study? He said, so place. Do you know so person? He said, he was my father. Where is he now? He said, the man is dead. He said, in fact, I have to be thankful to him because of what he did for me. And he is entitled to so amount of money, but we never saw him to give it to him. The son got the money. When all of them went home and they sat down, they started recounting the feedback they were getting from their father's name. And then one of them said, we thought we didn't get anything from our father. He didn't leave anything for us, but he left a good name for us. And this legacy that he left for us is what is pushing us to wherever we are going to now. So like we say, yes, you may have a company, you may build a company, but the integrity is very important. In whatever you do, if you do not have a good name, no matter whatever you have nothing. Because the day the person dies, everything dies with him. But if you have integrity and you have a good name, you have left something. The memory of the person lives longer than you can imagine. That is my take on it, Your Excellency. And God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Reverend Paul Ndimba. Reverend Paul is responsible for our global chaplain organization, all of the chaplains globally. And Reverend Paul is a man of the highest level of integrity, an honorable man, a man of God, a man that does not compromise, very serious. And I appreciate His Excellency Donald Ewers for introducing such a man to the class of Steele. And His Excellency Reverend Paul introduced us to Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu. So I share that because the class of Steele is made up of individuals who respect each other because of one little piece of ingredient in their foundation: integrity. If you don't have integrity, if you don't know how to operate with integrity, then you've lost the battle. Reverend Paul, I want to appreciate your submission pertaining to personal character, because our personal character is also a legacy. And that is one of the things that make people want to work for a company, because of the boss, because of who was there. So look at your life and your character. Never think you don't have anything to leave. Always look at, can I make my character better? can I change how I live with my neighbor, with people that my children will see? And the reason why I do what I do is because the name of Steele is going to be global, and my son's name is my name as well, Joshua Michael Steele. That's it. That he has my name. Who was your father? Oh, that man there. Google and see, that's my father. If the Lord should take me home, my son, I believe, has a foundation on the earth that many will look out for him because I was his father. Are you leaving that type of legacy for your children? Your Excellency, Doreen, please greet us this evening and share your thought. Our COO, Her Excellency Doreen Barunji out of Uganda. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Michael Steele, Your Excellency, all the excellencies in the house. Good evening to you, all our invited guests. Good evening to you. It was nice seeing Emmanuel once again. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us tonight. Dr. Michael Steele, very direct to me, and I have come to make some serious decisions in some areas, especially in team choosing the right team to be able to discern quickly and make a decision. My take is on norming, where you said that members agree about roles and processes for solving problems. Decisions are made through negotiations and consensus building. Many times, us leaders take time to make the decision when you are comfortable with constructive criticism, and you're like, okay, this person is always on this kind of team is always on the opposition. But I didn't know that the constructive criticism actually is sabotaging your roles and objective and the vision and mission for your organization. Very critical. So one can decide to say, okay, I will allow this to pass in this meeting and in the second, but if it continues, then you actually have to know that these people are against what you're building, and therefore you need to let them go. I was just laughing at myself how I tolerated so many individuals who were opposing the objectives of the company, the mission, and this really stalled the progress of the company. Not only just the team that you have at place of work, but also with probably shareholders meetings, when the majority are in opposition of your vision, it is also very good to make a decision that, the Bible says two people cannot work together unless they agree. I have been tonight's class has really been an eye-opener for me, so very much that what I have experienced in the past, it will never, ever again happen to me because of this class. I will not take long to make a decision. And not just even in business, but also in my life. So I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Michael Steele, for this very educated class that you have shared with us tonight. I have been personally blessed. It can be just one point, but it has done a lot of rectification in my life and in my business, and as well as in my association of people. So thank you so very much, Dr. Michael Steele, and the class of Steele. Thank you very much. for coming for this last class for this month until I know we're going to meet again in September, but I'm going to greatly miss you guys. Yeah, but I look forward to seeing you again in September. So God bless you and good night.
You know, Doreen, because I'm your mentor, I also want to say something to you that I've learned. And this is important to everybody because you might have others that are like you that just got a revelation that it hits us below the belt. When you sit down and you say, wow, I didn't realize that I was tolerating you undermining me, undermining me, undermining me, undermining me, undermining me. And I'm trying to prove my point, and realizing that you have been, to be quite honest, running my vision and not me. It's you running my vision. I'm not running it. You know, I'll tell you something when you discover that, Doreen. The first thing you do, which is what you've just done, is become aware. Second thing you do is sleep on it. You don't address it immediately. How you address it is by identifying the strengths of that person on your team and weighing the pros against the cons. Because there's some individuals that they're very pessimistic. As a matter of fact, pessimism is not bad. Opposition and destroying your vision is bad. Undermining your vision is bad. So you need to evaluate, is this person undermining me? Is this person a pessimistic person that they just don't ever see things the way I see them? You need some time to assess that, because a lot of times the person could be very good at spotting things that you would not see, which are blind spots. So you need also to learn and observe. So look at the track record. Don't just get rid of the person. Don't just shut them down. Look at the track record and see if it is an environment where you could shun certain conversations with that person, but the strengths they bring to the team are needed. And if you remove that person, in as much as you might remove the pessimism, you're also undermining a strength that the team has as well. So until you could find a fit to replace that strength that the person is bringing on the team, don't get rid of them. Be aware of them, treat them differently, communicate different with them, but make sure you don't allow them to have the same impact negatively on you as they would have done prior. So I think the greatest lesson for you is not to get rid of Judas, but to realize that sometimes Judas could be the reason why the world has salvation. I'm not going to spend a lot on that, but I want you to be mindful of what I'm trying to convey to you. Don't make a rash decision because you got a revelation. Let the revelation sink in and study the person that you have in your mind. I hope you understand what I'm saying, my dear.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much. Your Excellency, Donald Ewers, please greet us this evening and just share your thought. And I'm going to get ready to close. The time is now 11 p.m. here in the United Kingdom. And I really appreciate you this evening in the class of Steele for sharing in the discussion. And we're closing class on Friday. Friday is our last class. And I want to welcome you to come out on Friday, and I'm going to give you some instructions, information, and we'll see what's going to happen on Friday. But Saturday is going to be the start of our youth arm, and all of you, if you feel like just showing up on Saturday, you're free to show up if you feel like. It's up to you. Our management team, I hope our management team is there because I want our management team to get to know the youth. So far, I think we have about 50 or 60 youth that have already registered and signed up that are going to be ready for on Saturday. So come and join us if you may, and then we will see what will happen. And again, we are closing on Friday for the adult section so individuals can have a break for the next couple of weeks, and we're starting back on the 1st of September, when we will be ready to go with unveiling of a whole lot more things that is going to be in place as a result of what we worked on while you guys were taking a break. I will not be taking a break for sure, neither the First Lady. We've got a lot of work to do. Her Excellency Doreen, Her Excellency Bishop Comfort, and Dr. Ewers, we have a lot of work to do, but be assured that the 1st of September, you are in for a wow time in going forward. Your Excellency Donald Ewers, our Chief Protocol, please share your take this evening.
Pleasant good evening, sir, Dr. Michael Steele and the ambassadors in the house. It is a pleasure and a blessing to be in the session this evening, and we have learned a lot. I want to be long-winded, but if time would permit me, sir, you're really a true visionary, the class of Steele. And I would just like to share with the Excellency in the house about some of the times they said no one man is an island. And sometime with the visioneer, I would advise to communicate with the visioneer, because sometimes you yourself is not catching the vision at the speed he's going. For example, I rang him on one day, today's Wednesday, I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, we speak often anyway. And I was a bit concerned with the input of the participants that come through the class of Steele. And so I was asking to create a platform that more people come on board, etc., etc. However, he only smiled, and he and his lady Jenny have a very laid-back approach. And I said, what on earth are these guys doing? Why they have this kind of laid-back approach? He seemed relaxed, he seemed happy. And to my surprise, they said, oh, have you ever checked on the videos? Have you ever checked on Facebook? Have you ever checked on all the social media? And when I went and checked and see how many thousands of people, the result on the platform that looking at the class of Steele, I went to my bed and I wake up the next morning with a smile on my face and said, this man is something else. Here we are worried about our 10 and 15 people. Ambassadors, there are thousands. I've checked 22,000 people through the class of Steele. I said, no, this is not right. This is not right. So this is why the man is talking about legacy. He knows what he's doing. So all those who want to drop by the byways and the hedges and say the class of Steele is rubbish, please check. This man is leaving a legacy. 22,000 at the time I catch on has going through, logging on all over the world with the class of Steele. And here we are worrying about the 10 and the 12 and the 15, and we think it's a dead end. The man and the lady, class of Steele, they know what they're doing. So please encourage, support. Don't worry about class of Steele. You see the 10 and the 5 and the 15 and participants. There are thousands who are enjoying, who are taking notes, who are going places. And I can see you, sir, that when you leave this world, I'm older than you, but when you leave this world, they will go back and say to Joshua, we know that man. Because I was absolutely, as the British would say, gobsmacked. I didn't know so many thousand people are looking, because when you go through all these different videos, they can see the result and so on. I've got my status, and people who look at my status, there's a thing I can click on and see who visit my status. It's the same way with the class of Steele. You can see how many people. So please support, encourage, stand strong with the man, stand strong with the lady Jenny, because this class of Steele is going somewhere. Finally, I like the part of it, sir, when you say in the legacy, building a legacy. And, you know, one of the things I looked at, this just a little thing that stand out before me is taking shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in legacy. A person who is toiling morning, noon, and night, like what Dr. Michael Steele is doing. He goes from, I don't know how he does it. He will toil all night and get back up the next day and toil again. He is leaving a legacy. The worth ethics my late father has distilled in me is worth ethics, to work. In the Caribbean, we go to bed by sunset and wake up by sunrise. And that legacy my father has left in me, it's still, even to now, I have it. I can't lie in bed. So I work and work and work and work. So you can't be jealous of somebody who put in the work, who walk the walk, talk the talk. So, sir, I salute you. Well done. You're a man, you practice what you preach, and you're definitely leaving a legacy. God bless you. Good night.
Your Excellency, thank you so very much for the vote of confidence. And I was laughing because I genuinely didn't expect that that's the route you were going to go. And I want to thank all of you, and I want to say this. Don't ever think you can know what God is doing in your life. Don't ever think you know. If I say God has a plan for you, he said, I know the thoughts I have towards you. He does. And he says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither have it entered the heart of man what he has for you. He has a legacy for you. But I'll tell you a little secret that I discovered. There's some exceptionally powerful people globally who respect me as a mentor, and I never really knew that I had that much of an impact on them globally, because it wasn't about making an impact on them. It was just about being honest and helping them. You are leaving a legacy. Even you're coming and sitting there and giving your ear to the class of Steele, you are part of this legacy because the videos have you in it. Those of you who don't have their video on, and those of you who don't appreciate when I say, please dress professionally and come and sit, you are part of this legacy. We have over 260 videos. We have over 60 or 70 that are live, and so many others that are not live, plus a few other over 500 or 600 individual videos that we have from all of your testimonies and everything that you guys have been sharing. You could go back and listen and see yourself in the class of Steele. Minister Ewers, the secret for the class of Steele is actually to reveal yourself. The reason why I ask individuals to give comments is because I want you to go and see what you said 6 months ago, 1 year ago. Have you become better when you go and look at that video from the class of Steele about what you said? Have you improved? The world is seeing you. The world is listening to you. If someone meets you in the bank, someone meets you on the streets that are watching the class of Steele videos, what have you said to them? What impact are you making on them? You see, most people don't understand simple little opportunities. They take them for granted. Don't take for granted opportunities God gives to you. Please, don't take small beginnings lightly. I don't do things willy-nilly. I'm a serious strategic person, very strategic. We have a radio station that is going to get launched very soon. We have a TV station that is going to get launched very soon with thousands of different content. I told you I have so many books that I have already personally written. I've told you that, personally written. So many, on so many subjects that I teach on, I have books written already. Everything takes time and hard work. Don't let somebody make you feel belittled or humiliated about your vision. Don't try to prove any point to any person. Work at your own pace. But the one thing to do is work diligently. Every day you get up, one step towards your goal, one step. Even if you take that one step and then you sit for the rest of the day, when you get up the next moment, one more step. I have a very old friend, he's in his 90s, old man. I'm going to show you something in closing. I'm going to show you something. He's an old man. And this is the speed he walks at. I'm going to show you. He's an old man. He does his own shopping. He's held over. And this is the speed he walks the street at. I love him dearly. You see, a lot of you, that just frustrated a lot of you. That's so slow. But I walk and talk with him and he tells me about how to treat my wife the right way, how to manage relationships. He tells me how many times he had fought in war, how many of his military brothers have died. And I walk at that pace right next to him. I asked him, do you want me to help? He said, no, I'm fine. He's walking with his shopping bag. What has he taught me? One step at a time. Bishop Comfort, one step at a time. They will look at you, they will see you slow, but one step. I'm going to close with Her Excellency Bishop Comfort. Share your thought, Your Excellency, and I'm going to close this evening. Our mommy from Ghana, Her Excellency Bishop Comfort.
Thanks a lot, Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Michael Steele. I salute you. And the First Lady, I always knew there was something behind her sleeve. Congratulations, a big congratulations, and all the excellencies on this platform. The Lord richly bless you. Whilst His Excellency was going over, I had a song rising in my heart. Go labor on, spend and be spent. That is the way our Master went. La 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 la. Hallelujah. He said, go labor on, spend and be spent. That is the way our Master went. As for shortcuts, everybody would like to get at the top in a moment. Once you start the work, no one starts digging the dirt. And apart from ourselves, we have those people around us who always bent on pulling us down, saying a whole lot of our things. Just this afternoon, I was lying down, I was pondering over all that I have done, because I celebrated my birthday on the 1st August. I just put it under the shade for people not to know, because I'm just planning on a bigger one another time. And I was asking myself that, what have I achieved all these years? What have I achieved? What has to be done and have not been done? And I look at my children. There were so many things running through my head. But leaving a legacy is a huge topic. And the Lord bless your soul, Your Excellency. I don't want to talk much because of the time, but what I would say is that let us go on laboring as the Master did. In due season, in due course, we will reap. When others will be asking that, where were these people? We didn't see them come along this road. Just like the old man, walking slowly. They didn't see us coming this road. And at the end of the day, they will see the class of Steele on top of the hills. Where did the class of Steele pass before getting on top? Where did so and so pass before getting to the top? I believe our Master Jesus Christ will never fail us. He will never disappoint us. Faithful is he who has called, and he will accomplish it. So the Lord bless every one of us. Our labors will not be in vain. He will grant us the wisdom. He will hold our hands and legs and feet and everything. And I know that what we had desired to do and think that we will not be able to accomplish, because of the good heart that we have, because of the thoughts that we are thinking, and because of that great Master, Jesus Christ, who had the best thought about our lives, who had charted our lives for us already. He's just about to unfold it. The Lord richly bless you. I salute you all. Greetings from Ghana. Amen.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Comfort. I don't know how many of you are like me, but I want to celebrate Zoom because Doreen, from the time we made that declaration, she has been clear. We don't have troubles. Doreen, please. Doreen, do you recognize, Doreen, that they just zeroed in on you. You have a special thing out of Ghana. Have you noticed it, Doreen?
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. She's loud and clear, and we're able to even see her face every time we want to speak with her. Yes, Zoom has done it in Ghana.
They don't want
internet as well.
They don't want to lose the class of Steele. They don't want to lose us. They see we are going somewhere.
Yeah.
I want to thank every single one of you this evening, all of our guests. I don't normally call persons without cameras because I don't want to be rude and assume anybody's there or who is there. But all of our guests who are without your cameras and behind the scenes, I want to appreciate you. I see Solomon. Solomon, I just saw your message. I will allow you to just unmute and greet us. Solomon Wu, I saw your message, so I can now acknowledge you. Solomon, just greet us this evening, please. You're greeting us, Solomon?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Excellency.
Good evening. I can hear you. Okay. I think that's a challenged connection. I'm not hearing. You can hear us, Solomon?
Yeah, I can, loud and clear.
Okay, then do you want to greet us this evening, or you're okay? You just send your message.
Oh, as I was saying, I said today is my first time joining this meeting, and I was greatly inspired by your words. I just hope to learn more.
Okay, thank you so very much. Where are you based, Solomon?
I'm currently enrolled in Kane University in Ghana.
You're in university in Ghana. How old are you?
20 years.
So you are going to be in our youth program on Saturday. You're joining the youth team?
Yeah. I've registered.
So you're just one of the persons that I invite that you could pop in the adult zone and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for being with us, Solomon. I appreciate you. Somebody has also, thank you. I also hear that there's Reverend Emmanuel Forson. Reverend Emmanuel Forson, you're from Ghana. Please unmute yourself, Reverend Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Steele. And thank you so much for today's presentation on setting up the legacy. I joined while I was in service at church, and then I drove home. So along the line, I lost touch and then rejoined when I got home. But unfortunately, we have a blackout, so I'm in total darkness. That's why I couldn't share my video today. But then thank you so much for all that you shared. I had a question though, which I hope it's not too late for me to put it across. And that is in connection with when to share your legacy and when to speak about it. I thought that though we can do it at any time, there could be some indicators that we could look out for. And so I thought perhaps if you could have a moment to just talk about that for us and let's know what are the indicators to look out for that will let us know precisely the time to do so and when to feel like doing so. So thank you very much. It's been very inspiring and I'm grateful to be part of the class of Steele. I will join up again subsequently. Thank you.
Well done, Reverend Emmanuel. Well, the time to share that is not now. And I can assure you that if you stay in the class of Steele, we will get to that at an appointed time. But I will say to you, in all fairness, I will say to you that there's no designated time. You have to be comfortable in your skin. Minister Ewers is our chief of protocol. He's a very private man, extremely private. And it takes time. And you have to be the master of that determination, of that time when you're going to come out, when you're going to step out and say, here am I to the world, or here's my legacy. The factors that you have in place, I tell individuals, don't share what you want to do, either share what you did or what you're going to do or what you are doing. I'll say that again. Take that note. Don't share what you want to do, either share what you are doing, what you did, or what you are going to do. Wanting to do is anybody can want to do anything. And going to do means you're on the way, you're in the process of doing it and getting it done. And you can share it. You choose which of those times. Some persons like me, there are things that I want to do that I don't have a problem sharing with the world. Why? Because I'm going to do it. The world doesn't have any business in determining if I get it done or not. For example, if I decide I want to go to the loo, and I'm being a little bit simple, but I want you to get the dynamics of what I'm saying. If I decide that I'm going to go to the bathroom, that's my personal choice, my business. I don't need to negotiate, discuss, or talk to somebody about that. That's my personal choice. I do that when I want to do that. If I decide that I want to take my wife to town, then I have to do that when my wife agrees and when I discuss it with her. Are you with me? So look at the dynamics surrounding your legacy, your vision, and what you're doing, and you for yourself will determine when is the best time to do it publicly. His Excellency Emmanuel and myself, we are very good partners. Her Excellency Doreen Burunji also knows of our intimate relationship for a while. And there are things that we do that will never go public. And the reason is because they're not designed for the public. And there are things that will never, ever be said or known. So you, in what you do, what you share, what you say, have to determine that for yourself. I hope I have added value. I see my wife just walked in. I looked at the door and see that the time is, are you fine? Hand say good night, say hello. Louder would help. Come closer. She's not going to show herself, but she will say good night.
Good night, everyone. God bless you all.
Good night, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Very good to see you all. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
God, she's gorgeous. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I want to say thank all of you guys for being with us. We love you all so much. and we appreciate you being a part of this journey. There's some, I have to call Your Excellency Donald Ewers. You need to take a call after this because you're going to just laugh so crazily with after this call. Reverend, Your Excellency Emmanuel Ndenga, you and I, we definitely need to speak as well. Doreen, you and I will speak tomorrow. We have an appointment tomorrow, so we'll get things out of the way tomorrow. All of you, Bishop Comfort, I love you guys. For all of those who are watching on our LinkedIn page, on our YouTube, on our Facebook, and those who are on our private email network where you receive our messages and our broadcasts and you watch them at your own personal leisure and convenience, thank you so very much for being a part of the class of Steele Legacy. Thank you for your submissions, your contribution of information, of advice for me as a young man going on this journey. I appreciate all of you. I look forward to us working together and building a 100-year legacy, should the Lord tarry, and that will outlive me and all of us here. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele, Her Excellency Jeannie Steele, our COO, Her Excellency Doreen Burunji, our Chief of Protocol, His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers, our Chief Lady in Command for the West African region, Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, and His Excellency Emmanuel Ndenga, who is our Chief Partner in the Monarchs of Africa Awards Gala coming up next year in Ghana. Good night and God bless you. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye, guys.
Everybody, bye-bye. Bye-bye. God bless.